Oh, I'm a beekeeper. Oh, I keep bees. Do I detect a little bit of British Isles in your accent? A little bit of British Isles poking through? Oh, I was born there. Yeah, dude, you were born there. You were raised there. You spent a lot of your adult life there. That's the kind of voice you get from there, not from here. I wasn't even aware until that conversation that I was supposed to think Jason Statham was anything other than full British, always been British, maybe came over here very recently. But like, I guess to have him be a member of this elite special forces group of like killers, they need him to be American. I don't know. So they're like, well, we'll say he came over here as a baby or something. I don't know. Like, but he just, the accent stuck. You know, he came over here when he was a kid. He already had the accent. He already sounded like this. That's how he talked. He came over here at 7 talking like this. And then he just grew up and he became a beekeeper. It's just great. Great. This movie is ridiculous. It's more hilarious than any comedy I saw from last year. I love that it takes this premise that he's a beekeeper, and they're like, but that's a code for special elite trained best killers on the planet, you know. But also he does keep bees, of course, and he loves bees. Not only does he love bees, he has internalized bee morality and philosophy to the point where he sees himself more as a bee than a person. And if anybody does something that a bee would see as like a transgression, he responds like how the bees would respond. So if the president's son is a horrible fuck up and cheats a bunch of old people out of their money, he will go and kill the president because there's a queen slayer bee that sometimes has to kill the queen for the good of the colony. And he's internalized that philosophy. He believes that to his core. He loves bees. He's just a bee guy. And he's making bee puns. It's great. It's like you just put words in a hat and mix them up, you know, and you got, well, he's a trained elite assassin and a beekeeper. And he is both of those things, and he believes them both wholeheartedly. I'm going to spoil this movie real quick, but when it, just stop watching, go watch the movie, whatever. You don't even have to come back to this. But like when it cuts to, I'm spoiling it right now, okay? It's getting spoiled. Don't get mad at me for this. But when it cuts to that dead lady's body after she killed herself, to quote Nicole Byer, tee-hee-heed so hard. Like, I just was not expecting that lady to be dead. That was like, she got cheated out of like a bunch of money, you know, but she's also getting fraud alert texts on her phone. And I'm like, oh, it's going to cut to her having to deal with it. And then them telling her there's no options and she's going to have to go to him. And no, none of that happened. She just fucking kills herself immediately. Man, that was, when it cut to her sitting there dead, I was like, oh, this movie, all right, it's taking me for a little ride. I'm going to go for a ride. And just when you think you might get bored, Jason Statham shows up and he'll like cut some dude's fingers off. He'll tie him to a truck and drive that truck off a bridge. He'll do all kinds of crazy shit. He knocked a bunch of dudes' teeth out. He loves to take guns apart. I love watching a guy take guns apart. And then at the very end, he's like, no, I'll use a gun. And he's great with the gun too. It's just, dude wants to kill the president. And he's the hero of the movie, you know. That's a good thing to do.